think so. I think that's the one.
All right. Question again. I'm falling behind. I really want to answer the questions that everyone has because I care for all of these wonderful people. But I also need to eat and sleep and pay for bills. So, long story short, how do I make it happen? Or should I even?
Joe, hopefully this is some good stuff for your drive home.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta say something about this question. So Joe says he's falling behind. He wants to answer the questions, but he's also got things he's got to do. You know, like eat and sleep and pay bills.
Yeah.
So how do I make it happen? And you know what I'm going to say, Joe? I actually haven't made this reference in a long time, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it again. I mean, there's this great book I got. It's called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And sooner or later, I'm going to say it enough, and he's going to send me money.
We'll see about that.
But
promoting your books, so some money would be nice. No,
money would be nice, but actually, I think one of the keys is just priorities. You know, and prioritize what you're doing. There is a time for unwinding. There's a time for, I mean, a lot of us here enjoy watching anime, but it can definitely suck a lot of your time out of your day if you're not careful. So sometimes you have to limit the time for entertainment, even though some people go so far as to say, don't ever entertain yourself, never, ever, ever, never, never. And I don't necessarily agree with that, because you need to take a break sometimes, and you need to let yourself unwind a little bit and just, but then you also need to know when to shut that off and get back to work. So, there are different apps. I remember downloading an app on my phone. It was basically a timer app, and I could put in all the different things that I was doing in a day, and then I could just click the timer to start it when I started that task, and then click it to turn it off when I stopped doing that task. And then it arranged it in a graph so I could look at what my amount of time I was spending each day doing. So it would make a pie chart, right? And it'd have like work was like big, huge, you know,
yeah,
enormous thing. Sleep was like that.
I thought it was like this.
Beep. It was tiny. And then there was one of the things that it helped me do was it helped me get more efficient in my office work, because in my line of work as an inspector, I have time out in the field where I'm actually doing the work out of the field, and then I have to process everything in the office too. So it helped me to figure out a way to be more effective in the office. And then also, over time, it helped me be more effective on each stop. So now I can stop in front of a house and be gone within 5 seconds in a lot of cases. And people are like, I had a client one time tell me, he's like, I know, Joe, I know you want to be gone in a minute from that place. You want to spend a minute in front of that house. I'm like, dude, I want to be gone in under 10 seconds. I don't want to stand here at this place waiting for someone to come out and yell at me. I want to be in front of the house, get my information, and then gone, you know, like quickly. So some of it's just like what we were talking about earlier, where it's analyzing what you're doing. Analyze how much time it takes you to do a certain thing, and see if there's a more efficient way to do something, right? And then from there, that can kind of be a constant growth for you. But before you start that process, because that process can go on, and you can do that for the rest of your life and just continually improve and get better and better and better. And that's awesome to be on that track of personal improvement. But I would figure out some priorities. You got to eat, you got to pay your bills, you got to sleep some. A lot of times we don't need as much sleep as we think we need. Sometimes we need more than we think we need.
Yep.
And if you, incidentally, if you're in school, if you're a teenager, because of the changes that our bodies go through as teenagers, we definitely need more sleep then, because our bodies are growing and changing and doing all kinds of stuff. And so just the physical aspect of that requires more rest. So don't skimp on the sleep. But once you're in your career, you're an adult, you're all that, you might be able to do some experimenting, but take great care in doing that. And I'm not a doctor, so you might want to consult a doctor before trying any type of sleep deprivation experimentation. So the thing I was getting at, though, is set some priorities. And is there a way, so once you have your priorities set, then say, okay, these are my top priorities. I want to get this done. I want to get this done. I want to do this. Now, when you look at those tasks, is there a way for you to do them faster? Is there wasted time and energy in that task that you're doing? Is there time you're spending just not really being productive, and you could get rid of some of that type of time and then just get down to the business? Or is there extra stuff? Can you kind of reduce that so you can make it more effective? A great book to help with that type of thing, obviously, I already mentioned The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. That helps, but that gets you your morning routine, and that helps you with your personal development and your personal growth stuff. One thing that helps, that helped open my eyes to ways of being more effective in what I was doing, was a book by Tim Ferriss called The 4-Hour Work Week. You can get an audio book. I know you've got a lot of drive time, Joe, sometimes back and forth. I listen to books on Audible a lot of times because I spend a lot of time in my car. So I have an Audible account through Amazon, and I have a whole bunch of these books, and I just listen to them. But you could do that to and from work. I don't know if you can listen while you're at work. You know, that could be a possibility too. But some of these things you could do while you're there. But that's a really good one to help you figure out what's actually necessary in these things I'm doing. Is there stuff that I'm doing that's just wasted time? Are there things that I'm doing that are wasted tasks? They're just meaningless tasks that don't really move anything forward. It's just perpetuating this nonsense, right? Once you can start to filter through some of that, then you can really start to reduce the amount of time on each one of those tasks, and it will free up more time for important things like answering people's questions, because really that's what we're here for. So anyway, oh yeah, Jeff Mosier, Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. That's a great one for prioritization and deciding which tasks you're going to do first. That's a great book, Eat That Frog, for figuring that out. But I'm going to turn it over to Ryan, and he's going to say something really, really good.
Yes, I've got some really good stuff here. Listen to what Joe said again, because he knows what he's talking about more than I do. That's the really good thing I'm going to say. Now the rest is going to be just kind of not as good, so brace yourself. One thing I remember, this is kind of interesting. I remember thinking there's not enough time in the day. There's just simply not enough time in the day. I simply just don't have enough time. And then I talked to somebody, and, I was saying this, like, man, time is tough. You just don't have enough of it. Don't have enough time in a day. And they said, that's wrong. Your thinking is wrong. You have exactly as much time as you need. And I was like, huh. Because if my perception is I don't have enough time in the day, then I'm worried about getting stuff done. And that changes my attitude. That changes my attitude about everything that I'm doing throughout the day. And that makes everything feel like it's not getting done. It's too stressful. And I'm not working as good and so on because my attitude is off. But if I feel like I have all of the time that I need to do this and I can get it done and I keep my attitude high, then I'm not going to be so stressed about getting everything done. And it's a lot easier for me in that kind of position to figure out and use my mind to figure out what I need to be doing. If I'm stressed out, my brain is not going to be functioning as reasonably at a high level. And it's not going to be doing the things that I need to do with excitement, with joy, right? Because everything we get to do throughout the day, we should be joyful that we get to do it. Yes, I know work can be annoying sometimes, but be thankful that you have work, and to spend time doing that work and learning how to enjoy it is part of what you're supposed to be doing as a human being. You know, Joe, I know that you are a Christian, so I'll say this to you. God put us here on earth, and he wants us to be joyful with what we have. And we have gifts from him, right? And we're doing what we're doing. It's better to be joyful than stressed. So if you are under the perception that you don't have enough time in the day and that's stressing you out, then what you need to do is perhaps not add more to your plate, not give time away, but change your perception on it. Because then when you act out those things, you are your mind is in the right place doing those things. And your attitude towards people when you're doing those things is going to be right. Because if you're stressed out and you're like, I don't have enough time, and you're being really busy. I've seen, for example, this is a great example. I'm sure many of you have experienced this. Like any holiday ever, and the person cooking does not have enough time to cook whatever they're cooking, right? And they're supposed to be enjoying themselves. It's a holiday. They're supposed to be kind of communicating with people, but they're stressed out because they got to have dinner by 5 o'clock and everything's got to be ready. And everybody else that's sitting there, not able to help, is looking at them going, just slow down, take it easy. Like, it's okay if it's not at 5, just enjoy yourself. Like, slow down. It's okay. Like, please, because right now you're just being stressed and you're making everybody else around you stressed out. And no one here is having fun. No one here is enjoying themselves. And so you're doing the opposite. It's not about the food. It's not about how you can get the task done. It's about who you are and how we get to enjoy you. So that as an example, make sure that your attitude is in the right place whenever you're too busy. Also, remember, it's okay to say no. You get to pick your life. You don't get to pick your life, but you get to pick some choices in your life. You get to pick your tasks. And sometimes people will ask you stuff and it's okay to say no. Just say, sorry, I can't. I am too busy. I had to learn to do that myself because I hate saying no. I hate saying no to people who are asking me like, hey, can we do a collaboration? Or can you do this for me? Or whatever it is. I hate saying no because I want to do it all. I do, but I know that I can't. And so I have to tell them, no, how about you get back to me, in a couple of months and we'll see if we can, work then, or something along those lines. It's okay to say no. Because you have to pick, you in life, you have an unlimited amount of opportunities, of chances to say yes to all sorts of different things. But it's important to prioritize and remember what's the main thing of my life and what things drive that goal. What things can I say yes to are actually meaningful and helpful to the world and to myself, those around me, etc. And what things can I say yes to that don't really have that effect? And how can I say no to them? It's an important thing to try to test the waters at. It's not easy saying no, but it's definitely necessary. We have to tell ourselves no all the time, you know, when we're confronted with something like, should I do something bad right now? No, I shouldn't. You know, that's pretty normal. And so sometimes there are a lot of good things, but we have to sacrifice something good to achieve something great. And sometimes we have to sacrifice something great to achieve something even greater. There are a lot of good things. There are a lot of great things. You know, it's not, you know, maybe you're helping out at a food, what do they call that? Where they, soup kitchen? Anyways, where they give food to the poor.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah, soup kitchen.
Yeah, okay. And that's a really, really good thing. But there could be something else that you are supposed to be doing that only you can do that's even better or greater. And you might have to make that sacrifice because you know that there are other people that are going to be there at that soup kitchen. And maybe it'll be stressing them out if you're not there. But there might be another thing that you're supposed to be doing that's even, I'm not going to say even better, but it's something that you are supposed to be doing. That is great. So while, again, like a soup kitchen, how can you top that? Like, that's so nice, giving to the poor, etc. Well, you know, there are many things in this world that need change and to become better. And sure, I mean, that's a really big thing. People are poor, but there are also a lot of people who aren't poor, who are spiritually poor, who are mentally poor, who hate themselves. And that's something that you can do. If you can help those people, then that's just as good. In fact, if that's your position in life and that's what you're supposed to be doing, then that's even better. You know, we all have different things we have to choose from. Sometimes there are many good things, and sometimes we have to choose to say no to good things. And it's, yeah. So one thing, again, it's okay to say no. And two, prioritize. Figure out what's the main thing for you. What are the main things, and serve those. And then three, you have enough time. You have enough time to do everything you're supposed to do. And if you don't, then you have something you're not supposed to be doing. All right. So you have enough time. God's given you enough time. Don't ever say, I don't have enough time to anything else. Because you always have enough time for those things that matters. You have been provided that time. So don't say that, because that'll get you in a bad attitude. That'll get you feeling stressed out. And that's not going to improve the things that really matter. And it will also make your body strained out and give you worry, and all sorts of different stuff comes with stress. I think we all know that. So, and that's why we do Don't Worry Wednesday. So yeah, attitude, perception, that's a lot of life. A lot of life and living life is just, how are you going to perceive this? And I think it's important to just understand you have enough time. Don't say, I don't have enough time when it comes to things that are important, because again, your attitude will be lacking in this, with that kind of attitude or with that kind of perception. So those are my pointers.
Well, we all have the same amount of time in a day. Everybody, you, me, Bill Gates.
Really?
Jeff,
they all have 25.3 hours?
Yep, exactly. We all have that. So
that's what I did. I don't know about your guys' day, but sometimes like the sun rises during like the night. It's weird for me. I don't understand. No.
Yep. No, hopefully that's helpful for you, Joe. And yeah, that's I love what Ryan was talking about, that, you know, that whole time issue and stress and the very fact, like some part of your question felt like you might be getting a little bit stressed about this situation. And that's where, like Ryan was talking about, a lot of things can get done if you're a praying person, as I know you are. Turn a lot over in prayer. I can clarify things like you would not believe.
Yeah, it really clears the mind and sets you up for spending your time more actively getting things done correctly because you have a peaceful mind and you're not stressed over. Yeah, your mind doesn't do so many loops and all. Yeah, it really does help.
Mm-hmm. Even when people, even people who don't pray, when they spend time in silence, just meditating, that clears things up as well. But I've tried both, just clear-headed meditation and prayer. I find prayer to be far more effective in clearing things up and getting my head on track and stuff like that. So